Okay, in this video, I'm going to actually paraphrase two different sources, showing you how it works. I have not paraphrased these before, so I'm actually going to do this fresh so you can actually watch the process happen. So here are the steps that we're following. We need to read the passage without looking at the passage. We're going to write a list of what we remember. We're going to write the paraphrase off of our list without looking back at the original. Then we're going to go back and check it. So I've picked two songs that were on my soundtrack list, but they're not the ones that I did for the project. So the first song that I picked was American Pie. So I'm going to kind of look over what this says here. It tells us the artist, talks about how popular it was. 4 weeks in 1972. It looks like it was the #1 hit, reached #1 in several countries. Was the #5 song on the Songs of the Century. Madonna did a cover. It keeps mentioning this phrase, the day the music died in the song, and that refers to a plane crash in 1959 that killed Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens. And then it says that people have debated the meaning of the lyrics, and for decades, McLean declined to explain the symbolism. So he never actually explained it, but in 2015, he released some songwriting notes and explained many of the symbols. And there's a lot of references to rock artists in the 60s. The theme of the song is loss of innocence. Okay, so I feel like I have a pretty decent understanding, enough to write 3 sentences. So I've done my first step, I read my passage, and then I'm not going to look at the passage. I'm going to write a list of what I remember. So since you guys are only going to be working really on Chromebooks, you can use paper if you'd like, but I'm just going to model this on Google Doc. So I just pulled up a Google Doc. So the song is American Pie by Don McLean. All right, so what do I remember about this? It keeps referencing the day the music died, which was about a plane crash that killed Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and someone else. I can't remember who the other one was. The theme was lots of innocence, references a lot of popular artists from the 1960s. Remember that. Spent a lot of time on #1 spot on music charts across the world. And for a long time, Don McLean refused to explain all of the symbolism in the song. Okay, so I've done that. So I've looked, without looking at the passage, I have written what I remember. Now I'm going to write my paraphrase off of the list. So I'm not going to look back at the original yet. So I'm going to go back here. So I have this list. And I want to try to figure out how I can put it in order. Okay, so I only need to write 3 sentences for my project. So I'll go American Pie by Don McLean. It's a song about the plane crash that killed popular singers. I'm just going to copy this. And then when I go back to check, I'm going to make sure I get that 3rd name. So I'm just going to put a spot there. It celebrates popular artists from the 1960s and includes a lot of symbolism that singer Don McLean refused to explain until 2015. The song is considered one of the best of all time. Spent weeks on the #1 spot on music charts when it was released. Is still well loved today. Okay, so I did that. check the passage to see if you miss anything. So that's going to be our next thing. So I know that I wanted, the Big Bopper. Okay, so I want to make sure I put that in. Oops, Ripper. And I'm noticing here that I have the word popular twice. So I'm going to change this one to celebrate the musical artists. That's probably good. And I think everything else is fine. I didn't include really any dates that I need to check, so I think I'm okay. And now I just want to make sure that it passes the Google test. So I'm going to pick maybe this middle sentence here. I'm going to just search that in Google. Now it does come up, which is okay because I borrowed some things from this. But if you notice, I don't have a big, long string of information from the Wikipedia article. So there's a lot of dots here, which says that I pulled from here and here and here and here, and I kind of pulled it all together. So it's okay if it comes up, but it shouldn't be, if I had just written, like, let me show you an example. If I had said the meaning of the lyrics has long been debated, and I search that, I come right up with a big, bold strip. So as easy as it is for you to copy things from the internet, it's that easy for me to highlight what you've written and plug it into the internet. So you really want to make sure you avoid doing that. So I think what I've written here is fine. So I can put that into my project, and I have my 3 sentences of paraphrase. So I'm going to show you also, when you guys write yours, we're actually going to structure your paraphrase notes even more than just, open up a Google Doc. So we're going to give you this. So it shows you, you're going to fill in the title of the song. You're going to look for who, what, where, when, why sort of information. And then using your notes here, you're going to write your paraphrase in paragraph form. And then any links that you use, you're going to include. So I'm going to do that with another song that I thought about using, which is Numb Encore. It's a mashup of a Linkin Park song and a Jay-Z song. All right, so instead of just kind of winging it this time, I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to try to remember as much information as I can over here. So Numb Encore is a song by American rapper Jay-Z and rock band Linkin Park from their EP Collision Course in 2004. I remember listening to this song when I was a senior in high school in 2006, so that fits. Like I said, it's a mashup of these 2 songs. Went on to reach number 20 in the Billboard Hot 100. That's all kind of boring, so I'm actually going to skip down to the next piece. Okay. So before Mike Shinoda formed Linkin Park in 1996, he was an experimental musician who enjoyed combining songs by Jay-Z with tracks recorded by the Smashing Pumpkins and Nine Inch Nails. So he had done this kind of work before. And then a couple of years later, Jay-Z had a similar idea after hearing similar mashups by Danger Mouse and Cheap Cologne. So then he contacted the new band Linkin Park and suggested that they work on some material together. And then they produced 3 mashups based on Jay-Z's Black album. They continued emailing, met in person eventually. And then they decided to enter the studio and re-record the raps on top of Linkin Park songs. Changed up the songs a little bit. Okay, that's kind of cool. Anything else interesting? That'll probably do it. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to go over here and see what I can remember. So who wrote it? That's going to be Mike Shinoda and Jay-Z. Should maybe put that this was Linkin Park too. When it was written, I said, 2004, because I made that comment about my high school years. What it's about, so it's a mashup of 2 songs. What I know about it is kind of about Jay-Z leaving the rap game at the top. And then Numb is about like feeling emotionally dead. Yeah. So where it was written, I don't remember that. So let's go back and see. I don't think it says really, but it did say that they originally recorded it for a TV show, but they went to the recording studio and did a full album. So it's not really like a location, but that'll work. And then any fun facts about it. So I like the piece about how both artists had the idea to collaborate at different times and corresponded by email until they made it happen. Correspondent. Okay. So then I have this information here. You can fill in the title of the song. So it's going to be Numb Encore by Linkin Park and Jay-Z. All right, so now I'm going to take all my research over here and I'm going to turn it into paragraph form. So using your research, write 3 sentences about the song below in paragraph form. Okay. So this song is a combination of 2 different songs performed by Jay-Z and Linkin Park. Both artists had the idea to collaborate at separate times and got in contact through email. They chatted until they could find time to enter the studio together. Ended up recording a full album together. I didn't use all of my information, but I think that's okay because some of it wasn't really necessary. And I can actually put in here, ended up recording a full album together in 2004. That'll work. So I'm going to shrink this down so it all fits in that box. So do I have everything right? The song was a combination of 2 different songs performed by Jay-Z and Linkin Park. Both artists had the idea to collaborate at separate times and got in contact through email. They chatted until they could find time to enter the studio together. They ended up recording a full album together in 2004. I think that sounds good. So I'm going to use the link here. We're not going to do full MLA formatting for these yet, so we'll just drop it there. And then when you're ready to put that into your research slides, you can just copy paste it onto the first slide of each of your songs. That should come right before your lyrics. So that's how you'll do this. So you can practice on Google Docs or and then whenever it's time for you to do your actual songs for your research project, you will use this form, fill out ones for all 5 songs or 3 songs if you're only doing the required ones, and use that to help you write really, really good paraphrases that pass the Google test and are not going to get you in trouble for plagiarism.